As we all saw at the end of the show last week, the one known as Murph, also known as David, came onto my show and sucker punched me with my belt. You know, if you're man enough, you have cojones enough, if I'm still the holder of this belt after this week, after our triple threat match with Tavell and my dad, a.k.a. Old Money, a.k.a. Cul-de-sac, will you alone come see me in weekly picks next week? The challenge is all up to you, sir. Will you meet it? And welcome back to another edition of mine. We are live at Studio 105. All right, here we go. Got some exciting things coming up. The NBA is starting this week. We're still in the middle of the MLB playoffs, NASCAR playoffs, NFL still going on, WWE, TLC. There's a lot to talk about. Like always, we only got a little bit of time. Here we go. Welcome to the Mind. All right, on this week's Mind's Game of the Week, we got number 13 USC versus number 16 Notre Dame. And always classic matchup between these two. We know is always famous. You know, one for his the Bush push when Matt Leinart pushed Reggie Bush over the goal line to win the game for USC versus Notre Dame. Two different quarterbacks. Darnold of USC looks like to be the number one pick in this upcoming draft. Throws the ball all over the place. He's already thrown for over 2,000 yards. Wimbush on the other side, more of a running type quarterback. So two different offenses going against each other, two solid defenses. It's always a classic matchup between these two. Go Irish. And here's a look at your new college top 25 football standings. Alabama stays number 1. Penn State is now number 2 as Clemson lost to Syracuse last week. Miami all the way up to number 8. Notre Dame back up to 13. NC State had a couple big wins, is now ranked 16th. And you can see the rest of them. It's an interesting college season as we still have multiple undefeated teams and a whole bunch of one-loss teams. It's going to be interesting as we get closer to the college playoffs. And we're still in the middle of the NASCAR playoffs. Last Sunday at Talladega, Alabama, they actually declared it Alabama's Dale Earnhardt Jr. Day, which would probably be his last race ever at Talladega Motor Speedway. Brad Keselowski did go on and win the race after avoiding all the big ones they had there at the end of the race. This week they're going to Kansas as we're going another round into the NASCAR playoffs. An update on the MLB playoffs. The Yankees were just down 2-0 to the Indians. They came back and won that series. They were just down 2-0 to Astros, and now they lead that series 3-2. On the NL side, you got the LA Dodgers up 3-0 against last year defending champions, the Chicago Cubs. Will the Cubs come back from down 3-0? Game 4 is tonight. We will have to wait and see, and I hope we'll have that updated for you next week. But right now, if you had to ask me, I will be saying we're looking at a LA-New York World Series. Okay, so the NBA season is upon us, and actually it started last night. So let's take a second to look back at last night. And obviously, we're going to mention Gordon Hayward's injury. Just filthy, disgusting, not good for Boston in the long run. All right, so we got a whole bunch of new faces in new places, right? Melo obviously went to OKC along with Paul George. Dwight Howard I think he's been with more teams now than Marilyn Monroe's been with men. He's at the Hornets. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. Dwayne Wade, Derrick Rose, Isaiah Thomas, a really good backcourt there, is now in Cleveland. Jimmy Butler's over in Minnesota. And, of course, Chris Paul in Houston. And as we all know, Irving got traded from Cleveland. And they signed Hayward up there in Boston to pair up with him. We won't see how that will look like this year, but I'm very excited for NBA season. Can't wait to see what's coming up this year. Another reason why I'm excited this year for the NBA is we have a big class of what looks to be very promising rookies. Of course, we all know about Ball out in L.A. Fultz up there in Philadelphia. Trust the process. Is finally going to pay off. The hometown hero, 910 kid, Dennis Smith in Dallas now. Malik Monk fell down to Charlotte. So many good rookies this year. That's another big reason why I'm looking forward to the NBA season. All right, so the WWE pay-per-view TLC is coming up this Sunday. We have an okay card, some pretty big matchups. We'll get to the biggest one at the end. Kalisto versus Enzo for the Cruiserweight Championship. I'm going to take Enzo because I like Enzo. So I'm going to take Enzo. Pause. Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt. You got the Demon King versus, I guess, Sister Abigail, who is just Bray Wyatt in some girl clothes, I reckon. I don't know. Hopefully that ain't what it really is. But I'm going to take Finn Balor because Bray always loses. Also on the card, we got Asuka versus Emma. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing her name right. I'm probably not, but I'm going to take her in the win over Emma. Alexa Bliss versus Mickie James for the Women's Raw Championship. I'm going to take Alexa Bliss. And then I see her going against Asuka and a feud later down the road for them fighting over the belt because Asuka's like the dominant woman of all time, apparently. So we'll probably see that. And, of course, the biggest match of the night, we're all excited. The Shield is back, and it's the Shield versus The Miz, Kane, Cesaro, Sheamus, and the monster among men, Braun Strowman. So we have a handicap 3 versus 5 match. I think it's going to be pure chaos everywhere. At the end of the day, the Shield winning. So I'm looking forward to it Sunday. TLC this Sunday. And here are your top 5 scores for Week 6. Once again on the list, Melvin Gordon, running back of the Los Angeles Chargers, had 25 carries, 83 yards, and a touchdown to go along with 9 catches for 67 yards and another touchdown, totaling 36 fantasy football points. Running back of the New Orleans Saints, Mark Ingram, had 25 carries, 114 yards, 2 touchdowns to go along with 5 catches and 36 yards. Total 30 fantasy football points. A.B. Antonio Brown, Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver, had 8 catches for a grand total of 155 yards and 1 touchdown for 30 fantasy football points. Le'Veon Bell, also of the Pittsburgh Steelers, had 32 big carries for 179 yards, a touchdown, 3 catches for 12 yards, the total 28 fantasy football points. And to round out the top 5, I'm your cousin Kirk. Threw the ball 37 times. He had 25 completions for 330 yards, 2 touchdowns, totaling 27 fantasy football points.
There you go. Good job.
And here go 5 fantasy football players probably still available in your league. I'm going to give you a bonus one this week. Pick up one of the Dallas Cowboy running backs other than Ezekiel Elliott, pending his possibly soon to be again suspension. Who knows when the league will probably make one of those decisions. But here we go. Number 1, Nelson Aguilar. The Philadelphia Eagles only owned in 36% of all leagues. He's getting a lot of targets from Carson Wentz this year. If you can, you should probably pick him up. Deion Lewis, running back of New England Patriots, only owned in 6% of leagues. Had a big game last week. Their kind of deal with running backs is a little bit week to week. But Deion Lewis would not be a good stash and a grab and stash guy for your bench. Darkwa, running back of the Giants, had a big game against the good Denver Broncos run defense when he carried the ball 21 times and ran for 117 yards. Alex Collins, another running back, this one of the Baltimore Ravens, with Terrence Rice out. He's looking to fill in some of the roles that Terrence West was getting. He's only owned in 30% of the leagues. And Austin Hopper, tight end Atlanta Falcons, only owned in about 40% of leagues. With Mohamed Sanu out, he looks like he's going to get even more targets than he already was from Matt Ryan. And here go 5 players you need to play in Week 7. Kareem Hunt, running back of the Kansas City Chiefs, going against Oakland on Thursday Night Football. Hunt has a big game against Oakland. I see it happening. Put him in. Ezekiel Elliott going against the terrible San Francisco 49ers. Ezekiel Elliott has a huge game because the judge is on vacation. Put him in the lineup. Big Ben, quarterback, Pittsburgh Steelers, has had a couple down weeks. He always plays good against Cincinnati. Expect him to have a bounce back week against the Bengals this week. Play Big Ben if you got him. Also, same game. A.J. Green, wide receiver at Cincinnati Bengals, also plays very good against the Steelers when they match up. A.J. Green gets all of Andy Dalton's targets for the most part, especially with Tyler Eifert being out. Put A.J. Green in your lineup. Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, will have a huge game this week against San Francisco 49ers. Put him in, start him. There's your top 5 matchups for week 7. All right, I'm Nelson. Welcome to Weekly Picks. I'm still the champ. We're joined tonight by my dad, a.k.a. Old Money, a.k.a. Pops, a.k.a. whatever you want to call him. He's joining us on his picks to see if someone can finally take the belt from me. Here we go. All right, and welcome back. Welcome to Week 7, almost halfway through the season of the Weekly Picks. Like I said in the intro, we're joined here by Old Money, a.k.a. Pops, a.k.a. Old Cul-de-sac Face. And we got Tavell with us. As always, so here we go. David, who's the first up?
Starting this week off on Thursday, we have the Kansas City Chiefs going to visit the Raiders.
All right, Dad, special guest, you take the pick first.
Well, I'm going to take the Raiders.
The Raiders. All right. I will also... No. I'm taking Kansas City.
Going out on a limb.
I'm gonna go Chiefs on this one, man. I think Raiders got a lot to work on. I'm not sure if our guy Carr is back 100% healthy. Then we got questionable guys like Amari Cooper that's out. So I'm gonna go with the Chiefs on this one.
All right.
We have the Buccaneers going to visit the Buffalo Bills.
Okay, Buccaneers, Buffalo Bills. Man, Buccaneers been struggling these past few weeks. For some reason, Jameis hadn't been getting it going. But I'm not too impressed with the Buffalo Bills defense. Their offense has flashes at moments. So this is a tough one, but I think I'm going to go Bills on this one. I think Bills are going to take it.
All right, you know what? Jameis Winston going down last week. Not sure if he's going to play this week or not. For that reason, and because nobody circles the wagons better, and they always play good at home. Their home crowd gives them big home field advantage. I'm going Bills as well.
I'm going to take the Bills also. So it's 3-way right here.
All right.
The Ravens are going to visit the Vikings.
I'm going to go Ravens on this one, man. I think the Ravens will come out strong. I think, from last week's loss, they got a lot of things to work on, both offense and defense. And then I just think they're going to come back strong this week, try to get a W, so I'm going to go Ravens.
All right. I'm going to take Minnesota. Case Keenum been playing well in the absence of Sam Bradford, but also good news for the Vikings. Teddy Bridgewater got cleared to come back in football activities. They got a couple of days, or I should say 2 weeks to decide if they're going to put him on the active roster or keep him on a PUP list. But that's very good for Teddy Bridgewater, who had that devastating knee injury a year or so ago.
I'm taking the Vikings.
The New York Jets are taking a flight to the Miami Dolphins.
All right. Because they're playing in Miami, I am going to take the Dolphins. But, who look at the beginning of the year, who would have thought that this would be two 500 teams going against each other? Everybody thought it would be below 500 teams at this point, but the Jets are playing like a football team. Miami's playing decent enough to win some games here and there. So, two okay teams. I'm taking the Dolphins.
I'm going to go Jets, Jets. I don't think Jay Cutler's going to be able to face that adversity of that defense, man, and they're going to come out big. Jets.
I'm going to take the Dolphins because I think my man Cutler is going to come back this week. Pulled it. They played the second half last week. That's all they played, one half. That was it.
And they beat the Birds of Prey, the Falcons.
So I'm going with the Dolphins.
The mammals of the ocean.
All right, we have the Cardinals going to visit the Rams.
All right, old money's taking the Cardinals because the Rams, though they do have a winning record, right? They do. Okay. I just don't think they got it. So that's why I'm gonna take the Cardinals.
All right. He's taking the Cardinals. I'm going to take my boy Jared Goff for the Rams. But AP for the Cardinals, it could be a big thing. We'll see. But I'm still taking Jared Goff in the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah, I'm going Rams on this one, man. They're a young team. They're finally starting to come to fruition. They're maturing every week. Their defense is sometimes inconsistent, but when it's on and it's on fire, those guys are moving around. And they're one of the best defenses in the league. So I think they're going to have one of those weeks this week. So I'm going Rams.
Rams.
The Jaguars are taking a trip to Indianapolis.
Ooh, Jaguars in Indianapolis. Rival.
Your
Conference
team.
foe right there. Divisional foe. Of course, I'm going with my boys. I think that hopefully we get Andrew Luck back. That would be a blessing. But I'm not sure in his condition on when he's coming back. But I still think that Brissett can lead us to a W against the Jaguars. So I'm going with my boys.
Yeah. Ready.
All right. I'm taking the Jacksonville Jaguars. Why? Here's why. One, I said they would be good. And I have a young, talented defense. So just because I like to always say I'm right, I'm going to keep on picking them because I'm right. I'm the champ. Jaguars!
I'm also going to take the Jaguars because they got a very good defense. Enough said. And they're also going to be a decent team and they will make the playoffs. You heard it here first.
I think I might.
Or maybe second.
No, maybe second. Probably
You
first.
still heard it here first on the Mod.
On the Mod.
All right, the Saints live in New Orleans and they're going up to Green Bay.
All right, so they're going against Green Bay, but they will not be going against the man, the bad man, A.A. Ron, a.k.a. I kill Nelson's heart when I beat the Cowboys every year. Aaron Rodgers, he's not playing because he broke a collarbone, and he will no longer be playing, so I am going to take the Saints in the upset in the frozen tundra.
Well, I don't think it'll be much of an upset because Drew Brees is really nailing it now. He's going to take them. Packers are going down. They're nothing without Rodgers. So there you have it.
Pause.
I'm going to go Saints on this one. Actually, I changed my mind. I think Huntley is going to pull a W on this, and I'm going to go Green Bay. He showed a little bit. He didn't throw about 2 or 3 interceptions, I believe. But I believe every week he's going to get better the more he gets that experience. And I think this week he's going to shock the world. So I'm going Green Bay.
Man, oh man.
Yeah, Green Bay.
Green Bay.
All right, we live in the cool Carolina Knights and we're headed to Chicago.
All right, I believe Fig Newton is going to have a big game. I'm going to take the Panthers.
All right. I'm also going to take the Panthers. And yes, Cam Newton threw 3 picks Thursday night against the Eagles. I was at that game. It was a great time. Juice. Shout out to James. Anyway, 2 of those picks was not his fault inside our own 35. Through the hands of receivers, then picked off. So I'm taking Cam Newton, the Carolina Panthers, over Mitchell Trubisky and the Chicago Bears.
Hey, Mitch showed me a lot, man. He's definitely the franchise quarterback for that team and for that franchise.
After one game.
But for this week, I think I'm going to go Panthers. I think that defense is going to be a little bit too much for good old Mitch. But he keeps working. He's going to be a heck of a quarterback. I'm going Panthers.
Mitchell.
All right, we have the Cowboys going to visit the 49ers.
Well, since the judge is on vacation and they seem they're going to let Elliott play, I think the Cowboys will win this one. The 49ers they're not good. They're bad. But the Cowboys got to show me something. But I'm going to take them. Cowboys.
All right. Our boys also got to show me something because the 49ers, although they are winless on this year, have lost their last 5 out of the last 6 games they lost by 3 or less points. So they're a pretty decent team just on how to close out games. I think it'll be closer than I hope it is. But I'm taking the Cowboys with Zeke over the 49ers.
Yeah, we made a mistake there. We meant to say Jerry Jones sent that judge on vacation so we can get Zeke.
I forgot that part of the article.
But obviously, with Zeke on the field, man, they're a whole completely different team, and they have the passing game and the run game, which complements each other. So if he's on the field, I'm definitely going Cowboys.
The Broncos going to visit the Chargers.
Before I talk about this, let me show you this. This is the Intercontinental Belt. Maybe you all fools can battle over it since you can't beat me for the weekly I can't get the word out. Weekly pick champion of the week. Okay, I am taking the dang on who is playing. I don't forgot.
Broncos.
Broncos.
I am taking the upset Phil Rivers and the Los Angeles Chargers.
Ooh, Broncos and Chargers, man. I think this is going to be a good game. Battle of Phillip and Simeon at quarterback. But I think the Broncos are going to bounce back. The Chargers are having a lot of difficulty. I'm not understanding because they have so many weapons. Phillip has so many weapons at his disposal with Melvin Gordon and Williams. And then we have a great receiver in
Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen on the other side. I'm sorry, I had a brain fart there. But anyway, like I was saying, I think I'm going to go with Denver on this one. I think that defense is going to bounce back hard, and those guys are going to come after Phillip Rivers, and it's going to be a blowout. I'm going Denver.
Yeah, I'm going to go Denver, too. The Giants got lucky last week against them. Denver just didn't play a good game. They're a lot better than that. So I'd like to see Phillip Rivers. I've always liked him. I'd like to see the Chargers do something. They did get a win last week, but I don't see it this week, even in the soccer stadium. I don't see it happening, so I'm taking the Broncos.
All right, we have the Bengals going to visit the Steelers.
All right, I'm taking the role on this one. I think I'm going to go Steelers on this, man. They've just been playing, other than 2 weeks ago, this past week against the Chiefs, they were playing lights out. They definitely went to the film session after that tough loss and fixed a lot of adjustments and came back to the Chiefs this past weekend and just played like a Super Bowl team, honestly. Played like the best team in the NFL. So I think if they keep this up, man, and Ben Roethlisberger use all those weapons he got at his disposal, they're going to be unstoppable. So I'm going Steelers.
Yeah. All right, well, I think there's a bit of issues going up there in still fatherland because Montavis wants to be traded. But even with that said, I'm going to take the Steelers this week with a victory.
Yeah, I believe the Steelers will take this one. I think it's going to be a close game. They pull it out at the end. And all you Steeler fans that they say travel, which they really don't. They just live in them towns and go to the games. But anyway, y'all can take a break this week. You don't have to travel nowhere. Steelers.
The Seahawks are flying to New York to see the Giants.
All right, we got a bird of prey in the Seahawks. And we got the one win New York Giants on the other side. New York Giants came out last week, pretty much played with nothing to lose, how they're going to have to for the rest of the season because they really don't have the rest of the season because they ain't got nothing to lose no more because their season is done with all the injuries. With that said, as much as I don't like to say this, I'm taking the Hawks in Seattle.
I'm gonna go Seahawks on this one too, man. Although the Giants surprised me after all those injuries, they came back and played a great game Sunday. I just think that Seahawks defense and Russell Wilson gonna get it together, and them guys gonna pull out a W. So Seahawks.
I'm gonna take the Seahawks. It may be Seahawks 3, Giants nothing at the end of this game. So look for that. Low scoring, but the Seahawks will pull it out.
All right.
What is it, Patriots?
Patriots, yes sir, and the Falcons.
Okay, we all know what happened last time these two teams got together. Atlanta blew a 25-point lead in the Super Bowl against Tom Brady, Tom Terrific, and the New England Patriots. Atlanta having a bit of a Super Bowl hangover, not playing up to their game. So I'm going to take the Patriots. Now, their defense ain't great. Can they maybe slow down Atlanta? Probably not. But in a higher scoring affair, I am taking Tom Terrific in the New England Patriots.
I'm going to take the Falcons. I just don't see Tom Brady doing much this week. He's just going to have an off week. I don't know why I think that. I just do. So I'm going to take the Falcons. They should win the ball game.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Matty Ice and the Falcons on this one also, man. That Patriots defense, they're good. They've gotten better. But the Falcons, once they're on, man, and like Nelson said, they blew a 25-point lead last year in the Super Bowl. So I think they're gonna come back with a little chip on their shoulder on this game. I think they're gonna pull it out. So Falcons.
You drop your pocket.
After a long, hard day of work, come home and crack open a cold one for this Monday night thriller between the Redskins and the Eagles.
This will probably be a real good game. The NFC East is always a bang 'em up type of game. Is Hank Williams going to be there? Is he still doing that song? I don't think so. But anyway, I think I'll take the Redskins. I hate both of these teams. I got to take one of the less of the evil. So, Redskins.
I'm going to go Eagles on this one, man. Them boys are looking unstoppable right now. Carson Wentz is just looking like a champ. He has a lot of weapons at his disposal. The receivers came into the season a lot better, and Aguilar, and he's balling right now. And then they picked up, obviously, a great running back in the offseason. We all know who that is.
That Blunt.
Yeah, that boy. Blunt, and he's been balling this year, so I really don't see it. The D-line really surprised me against some good old Panthers a couple weeks ago, and they really showed me something, so I think the Eagles are going to take this one.
All right, yes. So this past Thursday night, I was at the Panthers and Eagles game, and dang it, I freaking hate the Eagles.
Me too, by the way.
I love being champion because I am the greatest champion there ever was, there ever will be. So therefore, to keep my belt, and only to keep my belt, I am taking the Philadelphia Birds of Poop, the Philadelphia Eagles.
My score is 24-17, my prediction.
All right, 31-28 Eagles.
18-19 Redskins.
All right. And that is your weekly picks with me and always Cavell. This time, the old man, a.k.a. Old Money.
Old Money was in the house.
He's in the house.
I'm still in the house.
But either way, and I'm still champ. See you next time. We're out. Ow, wow, wow, wow. Peace. And there you have it, my friends. Another episode of Mind Down. This was the first episode of mine ever from Studio 105. Join us next time on another exciting episode of The Mind.
All I ever wanted in this world, that's all I wanted.
I got one question for you. I'm drinking that Ike juice. One question for you. What?